Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Monday, June 24th, 2024. So, did you do the crossword?
I did do the crossword on June 24th, 2024.
You know, if you write that in the British style, which is to say day, month, year, it's 24/6/24.
That's right.
Which I find deeply, deeply satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find the crossword deeply, deeply satisfying?
I did.
Good.
Took me a little longer. I think there were some kind of interesting challenges and a very nice theme.
Yes, by Anthony V. Grubb, his debut in the New York Times.
His debut, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. So very good job, Anthony, for your first go round. I'm impressed.
Take a bow.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you said you had some difficulty?
Not, in any particular corner, but it was just like, I'd read a clue and I'm like, I have no idea, which is kind of odd for Monday, because usually I can just sort of zip right through those. But
yeah, I had a few, like, for example, 10 down, relentless campaign. I could not think about politics.
Oh.
And so the answer was crusade.
Right.
And I just had no idea. And then a 16 across, that R of crusade produced a 16 across tomato variety that, despite its name, was actually developed in Maryland. So I had 4 letters. I thought it was going to be Iowa. And then I thought maybe it's going to be Utah. And I was going to be thinking of all these 4-letter states, but it was Roma.
Roma.
And after I figured it out, I'm like,
going to say Iowa tomato.
Well,
Utah
I wasn't.
Tomato?
I thought they could grow tomatoes in Iowa. I mean, I don't think it's against the law, right?
No, but I don't think they'd call it an Iowa tomato.
Well, you see, I just read a clue about relentless campaign, and of course, you think about relentless campaigning, and you think Iowa. So I had Iowa on the brain as I was working towards Roma.
Right. One I did get right away was 28 across. 3-time Super Bowl winner, Kelce.
Yes.
Travis Kelce.
Finally, he's in the New York Times
That's
crossword.
Right. He's everywhere else. He might as well be.
I wonder how many times, and we can ask xwordinfo.com, he has shown up. Let's see. Well, Travis has shown up a total of 10 times.
I bet it's for other Travises, though.
There seems to be some sort of, well, let's see, there's a country crooner named Randy, country music's Trit, commander at the Alamo. So it looks like this is the first time he showed up as a Super Bowl winner, as a football player.
Football player. Uh-huh.
The first time that Travis appeared was in September 14th, 1953, Air Force Base in California.
Travis Air Force Base.
I wonder if Travis has ever been to the Travis Air Force Base.
Good question.
But we'll never know.
Nope.
Next to Travis, we had 31 across. Lively get-togethers was shindigs.
I know. Now, there was another one. It's like, okay, what could that be? But shindigs, that's an old word from my past.
And yesterday we had greaves, which was clued as shin armor. So we had the shin armor yesterday, and now we have what was attacking the shin armor, the shindigs.
Shindigs, yes. Mm-hmm.
Although actually that is really part of the theme. So you want to talk about the theme?
Okay, yes. The themed clues, there were 4 of them, and they didn't have an asterisk before them, so that's how you can kind of identify them as the theme clues. The answers were 2-word answers or compound word answers that had 2 separate words within them. So the first one was 20 across, which was base of operations, and that was headquarters.
Yep.
And then we had 31 across, which was shindigs.
Yep.
Then we had 35 across, or 38 across, one of a pair that a skater might wear, and that was knee pad. And then finally 47 across, figurative setting for a shady deal, and that was back room. And I had no idea how those all fit together into a theme, but the revealer showed quite readily that it was an interesting theme because it was 52 across, weightlifter's pursuit, or a hint to both halves of the answers to the theme clues. And that was body building. So each one of those answers, the first part of the answer was a part of the body, and the second part of the answer was a name of a building. So headquarters, shin digs, knee pad, or back room.
Yes.
So very, very clever.
Yep. A nice frothy sort of Monday theme.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I thought the rest of the clues were pretty good too, and quite interesting.
Oh yeah.
5 across, server error, ? And the answer was fault.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
Yeah, I was, as soon as I saw server error, I knew there's a question mark, which means, listeners, you should know if you see a question mark in a clue, they're looking for something sort of punny. Don't take it literally.
Yes.
But I took it literally, and I couldn't come up with a good answer for server error until I realized, it's that kind of a server.
Right. 62 across. Yeah, again, there was one that I had no idea. Defeats by a large margin turned out to be routes.
Yep.
Routes.
But I mean, you're familiar with that word.
I am familiar with that word, but it did not come to me quickly.
Right.
Like they usually do on Monday, like, oh, yes, it has to be. Like the first one across. Recedes as the tide.
Ebbs.
You get that right away. And that's the way most Monday clues are for me. But boy, this time it was like, I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, another one, 17 across, Lincoln, Jackson, or Madison.
Yes.
And I was, going for presidents or something on a penny, but turned out to be city.
City, that's right.
And I did some research. That's to say, I went to Wikipedia and looked up Madison. And there are a whole bunch of states in which Madison appears as a city.
It does in Wisconsin.
I presume they were actually referring to Madison, Wisconsin, where Wikipedia helpfully points out that it is the state capital of Wisconsin and the largest city known by this name. Because some of these others are like cities with 4 people in them.
Interesting.
Like Madison in Arkansas had 769 people in 2010.
Oh, wow.
And then they just stopped paying attention, I presume. Madison, Missouri had 515. Madison, Indiana had 11,967. Not sure why all of their population figures are from 2010.
Madison, Wisconsin is a beautiful city.
Yes.
And the Capitol there, I think, is one of the prettiest Capitol buildings I've ever been in.
Yes.
So if you're ever vacationing or thinking where you want to go, Madison is a fun city to go to.
Yes, indeed. Highly recommended. 34 across was constant critic, was a hater.
Yes. Again, another kind of unusual clue and answer.
And I'm just working through Dune Messiah, and one of the characters in there is called Hate.
Oh.
And so it's just sort of like a coincidence. It's like, there's hater. But no relationship, of course, for the clue because, let's see, 37 across. Japanese vegetable was udo.
Right.
And I was thinking that there's a noodle, right? Udon.
Udon, yes.
And I was thinking, is there some relationship between udo and udon?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think the answer is no.
Probably not.
I asked ChatGPT, and it said, nope, no relation. And then I asked it for a recipe that had udo and udon, and it obliged.
Really?
Yes.
Well, good for it.
Well, I'm not sure how good it would be, but 27 down. Boy, it has been, I was pretty embarrassed. African fly with a reduplicative name was tsetse.
That's right.
I started spelling it TSI.
Oh.
Because it's been a while, it seems, since I've had to think about how to spell tsetse. But of course, it's TSE.
That's correct.
And it used to be that tsetse was just like, you couldn't do a crossword without running into a tsetse fly. They were just like all over the place.
It was pretty common there for a while. You'd see it quite frequently.
It had shown up 228 times total. Now, this is before we were doing this as a podcast, but it looks like the highlight was in about 2003. They maybe had it appeared 10 times.
Wow.
That's like once a month.
Yeah.
That is a plague of tsetses.
That is.
And I believe they bring sleeping sickness.
Yes,
So you don't want to be bitten by a tsetse fly.
that's correct.
50.
One that
Yes.
it seems to be showing up more and more, 66 across. Spam spewers, bots.
Yeah.
Bots has become, I think, a lot more popular as of late.
I'll tell you what's missing from today's crossword. Actually, I'll ask you as a question. What's missing from today's crossword?
Oreo.
Well, Oreo, but it is a country that we've been seeing.
Oh, Estonia.
Estonia. I don't know what happened to Estonia. Apparently, Anthony V. Grubb didn't get the memo.
Apparently not.
Or maybe Joel just got tired of Estonia.
That's true. But, I mean, you talked about the Japanese reference earlier, Udo.
Yep.
Also 43 down, Japanese art of flower arranging, IKEBANA. That's not one that just comes to mind.
Well, I was thinking, the only thing I could think of was origami.
Well, that's not flowers, that's paper.
Well, but sometimes you can make paper flowers. But yeah, I saw the IKE and I thought, it's got something to do with IKEA.
Oh.
But no, IKEBANA.
IKEBANA.
So I take it you haven't done a lot of IKEBANA?
I have. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Oh, okay. 51 down, blank patootie. Well, if I see patootie, I know it has to start with the word sweet, except not in this case.
Nope.
Because it was cutie patootie.
Cutie patootie.
I've never heard cutie patootie before.
Oh, I have.
Have you heard sweet patootie?
Oh, of course.
I mean, to me, that's much more common.
Yeah, I think well, I don't know. I've heard cutie patootie quite often, too.
But I knew I was in trouble because the first letter of that answer ran into 51 across, who framed Roger Rabbit frames. And the answer was cells, which I had it spelled as SELS. And I'm like, no, that's not going to do.
Nope.
So it became a C, and then sweet turned into, well, temporarily it was Coeet, and then it turned into cutie.
Yep.
54 down. A Jedi mentor he was Yoda.
That's right.
I like that as a clue.
Yep.
And of course, I'm trying to watch every single television show, movie, animated series that involves Star Wars. So that's
your summer goal.
That's my entire life goal at this point. I have 7 years worth of Bad Batch, I think, to work through. But 55 down, protuberance, and I wrote down nose. Because I was thinking of proboscis.
Yes.
Or proboscis. Proboscis, sorry. And so I had nose, and then I realized that protuberance was just a bump, and that was the answer.
That's correct.
So 57 down is probably the last one here. Blank pot, container for rinsing nasal passages. I don't even want to know, but it's here in the crossword, so we should discuss it. Neti, N-E-T-I?
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of a neti pot?
I have heard of them, but I would never want to use one.
It sounds pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope you don't share it.
Some people say they really work to clear out your sinuses, but I don't know. I think I would get if I were using one.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. All right. Well, I think that's it for today then. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Hope you're enjoying these podcasts. Let us know, crosswordpodcast at iCloud.com. We're always looking for new listeners, so if you know someone who does crosswords, send this podcast to them, and we will be back again with our cutting-edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.